tonight, man. You have a beautiful Saturday, man. 99, number 4, downtown Mordecai, waving the point on. 217, I talk to you.
Well, let's go ahead and take some check-ins while we can, the early check-ins, and the jingle singers will get us going, and they'll say, there's those crazy West Coast guys.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
I do believe this is the Old Tube Radio Network. Here on the, as they say in DX land, we're here on the coast of California. The coast of California, everybody in California is on the coast of California, I think, when the skip is rolling in. The Old Tube Radio Network, real radio is glowing in the dark, oldtuberadio.net, oldtuberadio.com, and on your radio at 27085. Your channel 11, Class D or not. My name is Dennis, Net Control Operator tonight, one of the many Net Control Operators to set in the control chair of the Old Tube Radio Network, and thanks for joining us. We'll be jumping in and talking to the shortwave listeners, and then we'll be doing what we do best, and that will be listening for, talking about it, and checking in the tube radios that will be coming up shortly. So stay with us and see if you can check in. Remember, there's no secret handshake, no special hat to wear. You don't even have to have a tube radio, but we'd like to hear from you. Various ways to do that. Anyway, let me find out if there are any stations that are making it through the skip that would like an early check-in. I'm listening. Over.
24, checking in.
56.
All right, we've got 24. Thank you, Joe. And 56. Thank you, Phil. Sounding good. Over.
Thank you, Dennis. Have a good evening.
42 in the crew, checking in.
All right, big signal tonight. 42 in the crew. We'll get you as they come across the board here. Thanks for jumping in.
We appreciate it. Thanks again.
And 32, I think that's how we start the cartoon. You put on the beanie, and we spin that, and the cartoon comes on. Maybe that's how we do the jingle singers. You've got to spin the beanie. Who else needs an early check-in if you can make it through the skip? Over.
Dennis, get 650.
650. All right. And 21SC, hey, good. I figured you were doing something good tonight. So thanks for jumping in, taking a little time out, and jumping onto the Old Tube Radio Network tonight from Old Radio Night. So glad they made it in from West Virginia. And hello to that other SWL that's somewhere around there in the Wasama Swamps tonight. If you look over my shoulder, you will see the check-in official. There it goes. Thanks.
Break OTR.
The break OTR, go ahead. Over.
Yeah, 53 checking in. If I can get through all that skip there, Deborah.
You are 100% through the skip tonight, Bob. We've got you checked in.
Thank you, Deborah. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Let me go to the top of the list. We'll get 00 in. That's 19, of course. Chet is here tonight. The lights look good. We didn't have any, we had minimal technical problems. I came into the air chair late tonight. I was out at a function for the Fresno Amateur Radio Club, and I am back in the air chair now, and everything is looking good. So we'll keep going with there. SWL number 1 will get checked in, of course, and Mr. OBP, who is live and direct. If you go over to the video site and click down, you will see SWL2, Mr. OBP. Let him know that he is 9 pounds. Good modulation somewhere around Chestnut and Herndon. Check in for SWL3. Got Rob checked in. That takes us up to SWL5. Levon, did I see 5 jumping in from somewhere? Well, he's right there. Thank you, 5. You're looking good. JG Mopar UDX 76. Looking good tonight. Captain Robert is joining us right in the front row here tonight. I see you got your ticket early, and got the reserved seat. Looking good. So they have, it's like first class when you're that close. I think they have special dining and dancing going on. 444 in downtown, not uptown, but downtown Alabama. Hello, Keith. Thanks for joining us tonight on the list. We're going to take a look for SWL number 7. Yeah, I'll get a...
Well, you're not going to hear concrete, man, when I get on the mob, huh?
I'll get a proxy in for 7. Sometimes he might be able to jump in on the board here. I do believe that SWL 9 and 14 will be getting proxies tonight because there is some type of races going on tonight, I think.
Ichiban, Mobuhai, Ichiban.
So Dirt Dog 982, they could be listening in. They could be listening in from the track tonight. We'll get SWL 9 checked in. Looking for 10 and or 30 with the skip conditions the way they've been. 10 meters has been good. We might hear all sorts of sporadic E coming in tonight. So I'll keep an ear out for that. SWL 11 and likewise SWL 12, that's Dan and Dan. Dapper Dan. Mr. Cornbread, someone did say Fresno, someone did say 11 and 12, listening. And I'm looking... All right, that's not too bad. Just looking at some meters here. In fact, let me go to the, I believe it is the control room, and then the meters are right in front of my face when I do that.
Come on, take care. Looking good around Mountain Helen.
We have the crossband radio is up. The EchoLink link should also be up, I do believe. Yeah, that's good. Let's go to SWL 13, maybe from the crossband tonight, see if Mikey's out there.
410, you go switch the mic, man. I'll be honest.
Got the check-in for Sean out in Sanger. They may get back in time to get a check-in out from the races. He was here before we even opened the curtain tonight, SWL 15, up early in Copenhagen, Denmark, on Alpha 173. Looking good, sounding good. X in the square already.
Bye.
SWL 16. Let's see, I got 15. Let me get 16 checked in. Charlie, what is Charlie doing tonight? He's right there. He's just shaking his head. It's like, you're doing the thing he always does. All right, well, we'll see. See what happens tonight. I've got all my lists. Everything looks good. All the numbers are in order. We are, what week are we in? That's a good question. 927. We are week 4. Week 4 of the 8-week roster. If you're playing the home game, we should be right in the middle. Let's go to SWL 17.
Bad company. On the city of Louisville. Bad company.
And all the way from upside downtown Fresno to beautiful Southern California, out in the mud. Hello, Craig. You're looking good. All of the VNCs and DWTs and SOLs are working tonight so far. I haven't managed to break it. You can hear the skip roaring in from the Pacific. As we go out of our gray line, might be able to hear something from the Pacific Northwest tonight, I hope. Let's go to SWL 18. I have a check-in for Mr. KDA from Facebook, which I will do. The guy that checked in is 00, getting things started off right across the desk over there. SWL 19. Thank you, Chet, all the way from Derby, New York, by way of Belfast, Maine, by way of Fresno, California. He gets around. Let's see if SWL 20 is listening, or is he the unknown SWL tonight?
I am here. Please check me in, 29 and 54. And I was asked to check in Dirt Dog and Sean number 14. Can't remember Dirt Dog's number. Is it 9 or something like that?
Dirt Dog is 8. They are at the races tonight, so if they get in at a respectable time, they might jump in on the radio, but I've got them both proxied in, so we will do that. Plus yourself. Plus everybody else, you are sounding good. Good to have you in the air chair tonight. We might have a couple of technical questions for you later on when we start to checking in the tube radios over.
Okay. I will try and be technical. I also will have a radio of interest tonight. I'll try and check it in early when we get to the tube radios. It's a already sold radio from the collection of Phil number 56, who is sending out his herd. If it's quiet enough, I'll list as many as I can. This one's already sold though, and that way the gentleman can hear it if he's still awake. Okay, turn it back to you.
Back to me in the studio. All right, we'll be waiting for that. Everything is clear now except for the DX, and that is probably going to be heading out the DX window, or to be replaced by something else. Good audio, sounding good tonight, Harvey. So grab your snack and join us back here at the Old Tube Radio Network. We got you checked in. SWL 21. I did get Mr. JT checked in over on Old Radio Night. Don't forget to mark your calendars if you don't. I know a lot of stations jump in from ORN. No live coast to coast tonight, but we will try and get that next week. Hopefully there won't be any thunderstorms. Who else is on? Hello 483, Mud Bucket and Albert saying hello to the Old Tube Radio Networks. Squamish is waving 428, trying to check in out of the car tonight. You are probably, if you're listening in, probably hearing everybody out in the mini grass. It might work. It might work on AM. I know sideband, on the ditch bank sideband, it's a little bit easier to do, but we'll see what happens. I'm kind of thinking the 10 meters was really good today, so might have some good conditions. Let's go to SWL 22 up in Alaska. I was going around a couple of SDRs before I started here earlier, and I wasn't hearing myself in Wisconsin, Alaska, Alberta. It was all across the ocean. We'll see what happens. 23 Skidoo is out skedaddling somewhere. Yeah, hope so. Well, I'll give a proxy to 23 Skidoo, probably chasing after our friends in the Espresso Trucking Company band. SWL 24 checked in early. Let's go way out to Madera Heights for SWL 25.
Good evening, Dennis. 25 checking in.
25 checking and sounding good through all the noise tonight. You must have crawled up that antenna and put it up another foot.
Well, I don't know what I did. I guess the forces are with me. Anyway, yeah, if you could check in 74 too, that'd be great. Thanks, Dennis.
Can do 25 and 74. I'll do it now so it'll show up on the big board and everything is good to go. We were out at Mr. Holden's today for the FARC picnic and good stuff like that. So good time was had by most. I'm back here in the air chair now. Thanks. KB6G FD, I hear you. Number 13. They got you checked in.
Well, thanks a lot, Dennis.
All right, we've got...
I'll tell all STLs out there.
All right, 13 checking in live on the crossband radio. Thank you, Mr. Cobra. We've got you. Van Man has been keying up and says he can't get out. All right, here's what I learned in my brief career as an 11-meter radio operator. If you key up and can't get out, try keying down. Instead of keying up, key down, and then try to get out. And if neither of that works, then key down, key up, and then get down. And that should work perfectly. It is kind of a special little dance here on 11 meters to be heard sometimes. Let's go to page 2, and we're looking for SWL 27. I did not see Dwayne at the little gathering today. Sometimes he is out there. Maybe he will be in Studio G. It's not Still 90 degrees. Might be a little warm for Studio G. Up the road a piece and around the corner past the Pollardville Chicken and Rio Vista to beautiful Sacramento and beyond. SWL 28. Gary's checking in, having some banana cream pie and coffee. You can have both of mine. Two things I'm not that fond of, so mine is up for grabs on that. Cool breeze tonight. We're hoping to get some of that tomorrow. It should be blowing this way. Waiting for another great show. I am too. Someone might be putting on a show here somewhere. We're going to pick up his 1970 VW Bug tomorrow, named Ratfink. Rattfink. Ratfink. I talked to a station that's down in Valencia that I believe has a 70. His isn't a Bug. He's got the van, but there is definitely an affinity for those air-cooled vehicles, especially here in California, where sometimes it gets a little bit warm. So put the 102-inch whip at the top, and you will definitely look like Ratfink. Maybe that's where it got its name. Anyway, Gary, you are sounding good as always, and thanks for checking in. Take a brief moment to say hello to 007 Extreme CB, who should be back from all things CB breakage. And hopefully you're back in the regular air chair. He's checking in, checking out. Yeah, he's in New Jersey. This is a guy. You ever been on 27025 sometimes during the day and realize that it's channel 6 and 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1 and 7 and 8 and 9? Some of those stations have some pretty big signals. And extremecb.com documents that stuff and knows about it. Anyway, Frank, thanks for joining us. You know, the old Tube Radio Network on a Saturday evening. What do they say? The Saturday night place to be. To SWL 29 got checked in with the proxy. SWL 30. We're waiting for you to maybe just jump in and say hello radio from North Idaho. We'll give you a proxy check in right now. Van Man. Who was the other guy? I used to have it was a Mr. Gasser. Ed Big Daddy Roth and all those guys, right? I used to have a Mr. Gasser model. Van Man, we got you checked in. And in fact, who's on the big list here? Belfast, Maine, Tracy, California, Fresno, Rancho Cordova, Plymouth, Minnesota, Centerville, Virginia, Belfry, Kentucky. That must be Van Man. He's driven to Belfry and moved all the bats out. And, of course, up in the balcony tonight, where Shoals, South Carolina. And I see some of the other stations checking in as well. So we'll keep an eye on that. We're going over to SWL 31. Going to press the foot switch here. Robert and Teresa, let me get you guys checked in. Sometimes you scroll by and I miss the check-in. But I will put it up there now just in case you are listening. And you are listening. SWL 32, Rob, I got in late, but I saw the email with the picture of the yellow bird. We'll talk about that. In fact, I just checked with Harvey. We'll see if he has, when we start doing the tube radios, any information or thoughts about all of that. And I might even be able to pop a picture up so we can take a look at that. The yellow bird looks good even when it doesn't have the case on it. So good stuff, and it lives. I like seeing the display up there. I think you were on channel 19 anyway. It looked like it had some juice going to it, and was doing a good thing. Yes. So like I said, we'll see what we can find out about that. I think I'll pop up a picture of that here a little bit later. See what we can find out. SWL 33, myself, anybody that wanders in that needs a check-in usually comes in under 33. SWL 34, Jimmy Fiedler, who does a lot of that YouTube stuff, especially when it comes to radios and railroads. That's Jimmy out there near Batavia, if I can ever say that right. SWL 35 is Mr. Bill. He's checking in from cool Cheyenne, Wyoming tonight about an hour ago. Yeah, winter is probably already there. They might be getting snow pretty soon, if not already. SWL 36, where is that UDX 111? Kenny, are you there? Did you scroll past my screen? Maybe not. I see Bill. He's in. Walker Customs UDX 409. Looking good. The Stinger B. Audio Punk number 10. And one of the ESSB guys as well joining us tonight via the chat room. What's 40 meters like? 10 meters was good today. I tried some 10-meter AM. I got a great contact, and it was local, but we were cross-polarized, so I ended up using a Michigan SDR to decipher the 10 tech at about 10 watts. Sounding good. It was Mitch out in Dinky Creek. So I don't know if you're listening tonight, Mitch, but we're all vertically polarized here. So if your little wire is working, picking us up tonight to listen in, we will be having some tube radios check in shortly. Thanks, Jeff, for joining us. Let's go over. I hope it's intermission time. SWL 37.
Don't do.
Yeah, I hear you, just barely. So there's audio, just something's not turned up where it's supposed to be, but I know it is you. Over.
All right, is that any better?
Oh, way too much. Over.
All right, that better?
That is 100% over.
Okay, I had to pick up the mic. I got a bad wire on it. So, anyway, I'm checking in, and it is in between.
You are checking in and sounding good doing that. 37 is got the X in the square. Over.
Okay, Dennis, I thank you. You're sounding good. I know last night on the sideband side, oh, that radio was sounding pretty.
Well, like I said, I always try my best to make sure I'm talking with stations that have a decent receiver. That way I know I will get a good report. Over.
Yeah, I liked the quality of that last night. Had just a little bit of an echo or a reverb in it, but not much. Not where much you'd really know it, but you know, it had that little bit of an echo to it, like thing, but real faint. It sounded so good.
You know, in the biz, and I'm gonna give out my secret. Anybody watching the video, what he's talking about is the unit. Where is it? Oh, it's way up here. You can't even see it. It's way up there. It's off the screen. But that's the psychoacoustic item, and I turn it way down. It is way down tonight because when you're listening in on the Universal Media Netweb, and it's not going over the air, sometimes it's a little more prominent. And like you said, it's an almost not there kind of thing. So when we're here on AM, I take pity on the SWLs on the digital side and crank it back just a bit. Anyway, you are sounding good, sir, and thanks for the flowers.
No problem. It was well-deserved, those flowers. That sounded... I just really liked the sound and the quality of it last night. So, Dennis, you have a good evening. I'm going to be out of here.
All right, looking good. The old Tube Radio Network. That's 37... He's been, I don't know, we've been checking in radios for 40 years. He's been checking in for 40 years. Good job.
All right, Dennis, take care.
Sam, we are heading up to Byron and around the corner, California, SWL 38. Sam will get you checked in. We don't have Hippopotamus to give you a 10.5 tonight, but he would if he was out there. Gary built a Hartley transmitter for 80 meters CW using a 1625 tube. Works great. Been making a lot of contacts with it. Also runs about 2 to 5 watts output. And a YouTube. I will look for that. I'm using the J38 key. It's right out of the screen. And it'll be interesting to see what the 1625 tube looks like. I was hearing myself and the 10 tech station on 10 watts today. From here to Wisconsin. I was listening in Wisconsin for the 10 watts because I couldn't hear it locally because we were cross-polarized. So sometimes all you need is the transmitter and a piece of wire and some good propagation, and like we just talked about, somebody with a decent receiver on the other side. Sounds good. SWL 39, Dr. Dan, where are you? SWL 40, are you back from the item yet? I was sitting at the table with the SWL40. I'll get Larry checked in. He was on the e-bike, so he might be e-biking back. Plus, they had a bingo. They had bingo going on. I had to leave in the middle of the bingo game. They were giving away radios. But I had to get back here. And I did not, in the short little bingo I did not manage to bring home a radio. DJ Lunchmeat, are you talking about the Optimod? No, the Optimod is lit up. That's got, see, I put the lights, here it is. I put the lights on the Optimod. And this one is for, there we go. This one is for television. And it's actually out of line. It's in the rack. But I got it out of line. I'm kind of saving it. I got a really cool tube radio that I'm going to try and set up as an aside, and I think that one's the Optimod. And this is an early one. What is it, an 81? It's an 8182, which is a TV version, but from the 1980s. The thing built like a tank and still works great. All right, don't get me talking about audio or we'll never get out of here. Let's go to Road Dog 507 SWL 41.
KV6GFD K6VLF.
You know, we were just talking. I was just talking about you. I'm checking in SWL 41 right now. So here's the SWL 40 check-in. Over.
Yes, this is SWL 40 checking in from a remote secret bunker.
The old secret bunker trip. All right, well, you're not full quieting, but you sound great. I'm going to get you checked in, and just quickly, in 25 words or more, did you win anything in the bingo game? Over.
Okay, well, let's see. How many letters are in the word nothing?
Okay, well, you did as well as I did. Boy, your signal just came up from in the noise to full quieting, so you found the right button.
Yeah, we got the beam on you now, so there we go.
All right, well, a good time was had by all as usual. Way out on the ranch out there. Kudos to Ken again for another weekend. Another weekend, a fun-filled weekend with many good things going on. So drive, bike carefully on the way back, and we've got you checked in.
Yeah, how about checking me in? WA60IB as a visitor.
Okay, you're sounding good. I was eyeing the towers there, looking at the Antron 99 and thinking I should have brought my gear over there, and we should be doing OTR from the big gun station. Over.
Yeah, I'd like to have done that. I didn't even think about it, but that'd been cool. Yep. The A99 would do very nicely with that.
I think so. All right, sounding good. We're going to go on. 40 is checked in. We've got you checking in. Again, I ran out the back door before I said goodbye, but thanks again for another great time had by everybody, and we'll do it again.
Right, I hope you got a couple of good pieces of meat there.
Yes, I did, and some rice pilaf and some dessert, and there was chips and lemonade and more and stuff. So that's why I was late getting here.
Yeah, and your cookies are to die for, so thank you for those. Appreciate that. WA60IB, here's Larry.
All right, 73, everybody. We're back to the net on the old tube radio network, KB6GFD. All right, and that was Larry out at the ranch on the east side of town, and Mr. Ken, who puts on the shindig every year for the Fresno Amateur Radio Club. And he's got a great system, so maybe we'll work out. That would be a great place to do OTR out there on the 90-foot tower with the Antron 99 at the top. Continuing on, SWL 42. I think we got you guys. Are you still in the air chair over there?
Yes, sir. Sandbagging.
All right, this is the sandbag frequency sounding good, and I've got 42 and all the rest coming up as well.
Roger.
And notice how quiet it got. DX window just closed up for the Pacific. It'll come back probably on their gray line, but I'm really listening now. We should be getting the short hop DX. Will it be to Southern California? Will it be to Oregon, Washington, Idaho? I wonder if Rob is listening in up in Colorado, because he can usually hear us when the band opens up and get the big beams pointed that way. So we'll listen and see who's out there. 27085 if you're on the Universal Media Netweb. Tune your radios on and see if we get some skip conditions. You never know. You never know what can happen as we get into the solstice here. Next, we're looking for SWL 43. SWL 44. I didn't hear Ray last night. I think he said he was not hearing everybody. The skip is down, but I'm going to get 360 checked in. Over. Also, I will get a check-in for Paul and Kelly, SWL 45, listening in from up on top of the hill. Thanks for joining us. Looking forward to hearing you guys back on the air sometime, somewhere. Private Thor, he's got all the bases covered. He's got digital, HF, VHF, UHF, continuous wave, and an OTR check-in. We'll certainly get that. And also looking for SWL 46 out there in Wisconsin. Closer to home, SWL 47. You know, there was a Philharmonic thing tonight, so he might be out at the Philharmonic with the another guy was sitting next to, who I will check in, SWL 73, had to leave earlier than me, because there was a Philharmonic thing going on tonight. And he's sitting in one of the big chairs in the orchestra pit. SWL 48, Sam, if you're out there, I will get you checked in. SWL 49, Smitty and Sweet Country Mama, over. SWL 50. Somewhere out near Sangertown, SWL 51.
SWL 51 checking in.
All right, you are sounding good. The frequency is super clear right now, so not a problem getting over the noise because there isn't any. Thank you, Dave. Got you. 305 is in.
Thank you, Dennis. Have a good evening.
And we are having a good evening. Hello to Duluth, Georgia, joining us. A couple of unknown SWLs. SWL 52, also sitting with him at the big table tonight. So he said to check him in. Are you radioactive there, 52? Okay, I just wanted to check. But we'll get Aaron checked in. He may stop by in a little bit. SWL 53, of course, checked in at the beginning of the net, Mr. Belair. That means I get to turn the page, which I will do. We got a proxy check in for a board jammer 54, and up the hill we go to SWL 55. Just for kicks, I checked in 56 at the beginning of the net, and we'll put the X in the square one more time. And 23 Skidoo. You haven't scrolled off my list yet. Let me hit the right button. Oops, that's not the right button. Let me hit the right button and get you up in the queue above my head here somewhere. Heard a few harmonics from Dirty Operators today, but he didn't run into, and it scrolled off my screen, didn't run into Phil. Is that Punxsutawney Phil? Sometimes I will go to the picture on 27025, and I'm thinking that is a wide channel 6 sometime. And I was up on 10 meters, and sometimes you can hear him up there as well. 23 Skidoo, who is, he's on the parking lot. He's out in the parking, on one of those little parking lot sweeper things, cleaning up after Espresso Trucking Company. They got the RV out there at the Walmart again. All right, well, anyway, keep Walmart happy, and they might have a recurring gig at the self-checkout counters. Looks good. 23 is checked in. Directed net roll call. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network. We will be checking in your tube radios coming up after the roll call tonight. We're on page 3 if you're playing the home game, and we are looking for SWL 57. The infamous 57 Brown Dog audio out there in central Kentucky. And while my screen is still up, SWL 36 will get you checked in because you're still on my chart. No problem. You know, it's not a late check-in as long as the 6L6 is still glowing at oldtuberadio.net. We don't know how long that'll be happening, but UDX 111, let me make it official here. If it'll work. Yeah, there we go. Over to SWL 58. SWL 59, already checked in, but the official time is right now. Uncle Hairball, we got the X in the square right where it should be. Over. UDX 76, JG, I think I got you in there. Let me get 59 official, and over we go. Sometimes I click on the mouse and it doesn't do what I want it to do. SWL 60, hello, Joe.
Hello, Dennis. Doggone it, evening time to everybody out there. SWL 60 checking in, and no Fresno State tonight.
Well, you answered my question. Seemed like it was a little bit calm out there tonight. So what do they call it? Taking a bye? Or maybe the teams are just afraid of them now. And so they have to ask nicely and politely to get somebody to jump in the field. All right, well, that means a little more time for the radios, and we've got plenty of room on the list tonight.
Yeah, thank you. They'll be ready for Nevada. They'll be playing them next week. And as far as that game goes, boy, it can go either way. Good luck, dogs.
Like the license plate that John Wallace used to have on his Corvette. Go you dogs. He was a big Fresno State fan. Thanks for the check-in, Joe.
Thank you, Dennis.
Here's the station I did not hear during the cacophony that was DX land, but maybe he's out there now. SWL 61.
61 checking in, David. And I'm sitting here with my cat Rocco that will not let me come in here without him.
All right, we got kitty. We got Rocco in the Rocco spot, listening to the Old Tube Radio Network. You know, I wish I had the treat bag, and I'd shake it in front of the microphonium and get you in big trouble, unless you had a treat. Thanks for checking in.
Thanks, Dennis. Does the mic sound any better?
It sounds good. You're nice and loud. Of course, we don't have any background noise, so I think you're good. Over.
Yeah, thank you. I sprayed some CRC in it when I was right after I tried to holler at you at the beginning of the show.
Oh yeah, it's full quieting, and you can actually hear yourself on the replay at oldtuberadio.net or the YouTube video or something like that, and you will give yourself a 9 pounds good modulation in Chestnut and Herndon with that audio.
Really? I hit me that strong?
Well, actually, I do have the S meter up, and it does not lie, and I have the attenuator on, so I think my noise level is at 0, but you do make the meter move. Over.
Yeah, Ken, you hit me about 8.5, I guess, but I think I talk louder than most.
That's because you have the bodacious switch engaged on the radios. SWL 61, Dino, sounding good. Thanks for checking in.
Thanks, Dennis. You have a good evening.
Break OTR.
And the break OTR, go ahead. Over.
Dennis, can I get a late check-in please?
Yeah, in fact, I'm on that row, just above where I'm at. So we've got the X in the square. Over.
Thank you.
And also hello to who just walked in the balcony up there. I saw the door open. Lake Elsinore, San Ramon. Looking good. Well, Lake Elsinore is just in time because I'll be calling you soon. All right, back to where were we? You're up at 61, SWL 62. Shortwave listener 63. SWL 64, Craig checked in even before I turned the video on. Out there in Wisconsin, Craig. Out there in Nine Land. Who did I talk to? I talked to a 9 station on 40 meters the other night. All right, Craig, you're in. Let's go to SWL 65. The guy that puts in a good dB no matter what polarization he's got. SWL 66. Up in Canby, Oregon, listening in tonight. Bill, I saw you there about an hour ago. We might have some conditions. So keep your radio on 27085, and we might float through the antenna tonight. But got you checked in the good old-fashioned way. Thanks, Bill. SWL 68. SWL 69. Kenny was in. Kenny was in earlier, and he said, make sure you say hello to everybody out there in the Central Valley. And so we just did. Anyway, Kenny, thanks for joining us as always from beautiful Tulsa, Oklahoma. I have not been there since 1985 when I was at a bowling tournament. When I spent a lot of money in a bowling tournament, but didn't come back with anything. Cleveland, Ohio, in the 44118 area code, knocking on the door. Hello, Cleveland. Probably can't hear us direct at 27085, but thanks for joining us on the Universal Media Netweb. Up the hill, had a good chat with this station the other night, SWL 70.
Right Dennis. How you doing, man? Hey, my dad used to take us to Lake Elsinore back in the 60s and 70s for air shows and glider shows and stuff. That's probably all houses now. And I had a question about the word bodacious. Does bodacious ever get used anywhere outside of 11 meters AM? Over.
Yeah, we'll have to check our linguistics department and see if bodacious, which one is used more, bodacious or cotton picker. Now, Cletus Maggard has a CB dictionary song, and I would love to play it were it to not be for copyright violations on YouTube. But he goes through all of that. I don't know if he has bodacious. He addresses cotton picker, but I don't know about bodacious. We will find out, and hopefully not get a ticket for doing it.
Yes. I'm trying to recall if he used that in Smoking the Bandit. Whatever. Hey, thanks very much for the net, Dennis. Appreciate it very much, what you're doing here. All right, 7-0, hanging out.
All right, sounded good. Well, that radio's got some good AM audio without really trying. And Jeff says he still uses duck plucker. That might be on the Cletus Maggard record. That and mud duck. Who knows? All those CB terms. I got to find the record. What I can do is, if I don't play it, at least I can go through and find the words. Everybody, raise your hand. Did you say that at one time on your 11-meter radio? I know. Just raise your hand a little bit. Thanks, Mark. Got you checked in. Let's go to SWL 71. That is. I'm looking around to make sure. I've got so many things I have to do to get on the air. I've got to make sure they're all done simultaneously and at the same time. Stand out in Dallas, Georgia tonight. Dallas, Georgia, SWL 71. I got to refresh the comments because normally he is jumping in, but he could be testing somebody. Lake Elsinore, not to be confused with Lake Almanor, which is north of here. And we might get the Lake Almanor gang checking in a little bit later. I will give a proxy check-in to Stan. Let's go to SWL 72. Oh, that's right, mercy. Mercy. We'll get all of them. We'll get all those words. I'm trying to give an idea when we check in the radios of what it might have sounded like back in the day. But I think our lingo is a little bit lacking sometimes. The sound is good. The radios are good, but maybe we need to throw in a few of those zingers to make it look good. SWL 73, I had dinner with John out at the picnic tonight. SWL 73, he ran off to a concert at the Fresno Philharmonic, but said to check in. John has a lot of very heavy 11-meter radios before they were Class D. He's checked in before, so we'll encourage him to get on the vertical side sometime and check in on a nice non-Class D boat anchor. We've got SWL 74 on a proxy, looking for SWL 75. And from the land of Oz, as we say in ham radio, is it Oscar Zulu, Oscar Zed, Oscar Zanzibar? You pick it. Whatever sounds good.
Hey, Dennis.
But that's Pete. This is the basic, Dennis. Go ahead.
7-3 John. Is that Mike Italy John?
That is Mike Italy John, over.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. I didn't know he messed around over here. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, he's been on for a while. Sometimes we can coax him into putting up one of the boat anchors on, or if he's on his way to a concert, we'll pick him up on the crossband. But I got a here's another one. Here's another classic term. I got an eyeball QSO today, so we got him checked in. And there it comes. Skip is coming in as well. We're getting through the roll call here so we can get into those radios. I did see Red Fox one, SWL 76, browsing eBay for an old CB radio. You can find them. Sometimes you can actually find them for a decent price. I remember when eBay first started going, and of course we were on the air back then, and people started coming with all these radios. Said, where do you get these radios? Because we knew the garage sales locally weren't like that, and it was eBay. It was the first eBay. They were getting these radios for $10, $15, $20. We had a lot of stations that had, and I kid you not, 20, 30, 40 radios in their collection. They were coming off the days of eBay. And unfortunately, it was the days when people didn't know how to pack radios, so a lot of them would show up sounding like broken glass. You know what that means. All right, 76, Red Fox 1, you are in. Let's go over to SWL 77.
SWL 77, checking in on this beautiful Golden Eagle at Jerry's. And thanks for running the net, Dennis, and I hope everybody's having a great weekend.
I am. I haven't managed to wreck it yet, and I think we're doing so far so good. We got great weather, and all is good. Boy, that radio's sounding good, looking good on the meter. Thanks for checking in. After 77, we will go now to the aforementioned Lake Elsinore, SWL 78. And I heard Richard talking to Brian on 72, where are they now? 7225. I think it was Friday at the end of that net. So Richard sounding good. The RTTY-DX contest. And now, okay, that's what is going on. I was on one of the SDRs and looking at the waterfall, and below the phone band, it was like, what is going on? Because you could just see the stripes going down. And I didn't, were I to have been a smart SWL, I would have just tuned down there and I would have heard the doo-doo-doo-doo. I would have known, okay, it's RTTY. But I saw that. I knew they weren't beacons because it was all down, whatever the little part of the band is. So thanks for that. I saw that today, and it kind of slipped my mind that there was something going on. But the RTTY DX contest today and tonight going on. So check out a RYRY near you. Thank you, Richard, for checking in. You were sounding good on 40 the other day talking to Brian. Let's go to SWL 79. Philip checked in on the crossband radio earlier, so I'll get him checked in. Over to SWL 80.
Hey, Dennis.
This is the basic Dennis, over.
Yeah, 77 still listening?
Yes, sir.
Give me a phone call, okay?
Roger Wilco.
Thank you, Dennis.
All right, and thank you. And Richard said the 10-meter band dropped about 20 minutes ago. Yeah, it's about like what was going on here, but you'll never know. I was listening to 20 last night at midnight. Australia was big, Spain was big, so we'll see. We'll get some skip tonight, I think. Over to page 4, SWL 81. And I don't know if this guy was going to the races too or not. SWL 82. I will get him checked in because that's probably where he's at. It's a nice evening to be out doing something. SWL 83. JZ was checking in earlier. He's probably still been monitoring things out there in Ohio. Thanks for joining us tonight. Chet, tell me, don't forget to refresh your comments, which I will do. SWL 84, 86, 87, and 88. That's Cheerios Kid, Mountain Mate, Snowy Owl, or Tandy Girl and Snowy Owl. All getting checked in. There it is. The sign behind me. There it is, up there. The OTR sign provided by that fine crew of radio operators. Long ago. I'll have to bring in the plaque for 30 years on the air. They did that as well. Pretty cool stuff. Let's go to SWL 89. Were I to ever get that really nice Radio Shack, they remodeled everything here at the old Tube Radio Network. The patio, the green room, but they stopped short. Did we run out of money? Yeah, I think they stopped short when we got to the radio room. It was that fire, wasn't it? It was that fire under the Palomar that just kind of the insurance company, I think, pulled out after that. Let's go to SWL 90. Oh, 90's checked in. And Mr. Felix checked in at the beginning of the program. Not sure if he's still out there. Might have had an early evening, but Felix, if you're watching the replay or out there, we did get you checked in on the early side. Over to SWL 92. Here's the guy that was talking skip. He was throwing it down to Minigrass here just before the net. SWL 93.
93 checked in, Dennis. Hope everybody's having a good Saturday evening.
We are, and I'm thinking that little transmission, you might wake up the Minigrass right now. We'll see. We'll see if they start talking to us. Anyway, you're sounding good as always, and we've got the X and the square.
Thank you, sir. Everybody have a good evening.
Over to Warthog 95, SWL 95. And to update the list here, then we head up to Kurt up in Kokomo, SWL 96. We've got a couple of check-ins on the EchoLink link, which we will be getting to shortly. Boston looks good, SWL 97. I wonder if Jim is listening tonight. SWL 98 Tracy, and I always get a chuckle out of the, I'll call them like QSL cards on the CB Ditch Banks net. I'm saying that wrong because he changed the name and I didn't update my paper here. I don't know if it's Tracy or who does the graphics for that. They do them for the Ditch Banks sideband net with Ron. They also add them for the All at Tube Radio Network, but they are QSL card quality, and I always get a kick out of like, can I live up to the picture tonight? We will find out. Tracy and the gang over there, we've got you checked in. Radio Randy, SWL 99. I've been looking for him on 75 meters, and I've never, they're down low. They're down below 3,700, 3,800. And I don't think my antenna will work very good there, but Randy jumped in last week. I'll give him a proxy check and look for him. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to we're going to try and see if we can get Tony on the EchoLink thing here. So stand by. All right, let's try that EchoLink link. SWL100, that's Tony, KD4BAO from KB6GFD, over. And we're listening for Tony, SWL100 on the EchoLink link.
Good evening, Dennis. Please check in SWL100. Good to hear you as usual. Back to net control, KD4BAO.
Man, sounding good. Nice loud audio on the EchoLink link tonight. Tony, of course, our purveyor of TOTA, Tubes on the Air. He will be getting the activation ready in about 7.5 minutes. So look for that and listen for the tubes. Thanks, Tony, for checking in. Sounding good as always. KB6GFD. And while we are here on the EchoLink link, let me jump in, see if Albert's got audio and listening, I believe, out there near Las Vegas. If I'm correct, we'll see what happens. KI6CBA from KB6GFD. Actually, that's
Hello, Jack.
Sparks, Nevada. Hello, Al.
Reno, Sparks. It's lovely to hear you and the OTR network and shortwave listeners. I'm so excited about what radios might come on tonight. It's just remembering the olden days. So keep those radios coming, and I'll check out with the 73 and wishing you the best.
All right, and thanks for the update. Yeah, Sparks, Reno, which I just drove through last month for the trip up to Yellowstone. I know that's like, in California, that's like calling the Central California guys, you guys down there in L.A. or out there in the Bay Area. No. We're out in the Central Valley. So same thing up there near Sparks, Reno. Off the 80, man, I was trying to get used to that speed limit, that Nevada speed limit where it's the trucks aren't going 55. Sounding good, sir. Thanks for joining us on the Old Tube Radio Network, and we've got you checked in. Over.
Over. Checking out. Good night.
Back to it here on the AM side, and the one of the patient guys always waiting for the EchoLink link to clear. 102, John, thanks for standing by. We're putting the X in the square for beautiful Scranton, Arkansas. And thanks for being patient tonight. Looking good in the neighborhood. Over to SWL 103, Joey has checked in. If I update my refresh list, oh no, I didn't see this. Backdraft. All right, sorry to hear when we lose anybody, any voice. We used to call him a character. Any character that used to be on the Citizen Band radio for a long time. Remember the voice. Remember the key up. Remember the radios. All right, Joey. 73 to you, and we've got you checked in. And remember the good times you had chatting with Backdraft. Closer to home and up the hill, where if he's out there, he should hear us tonight. SWL 109, Mr. Crawdad.
Good evening, Dennis. 109 Crawdad checking in.
109, you are sounding good. I'm putting the X in the square, and thanks for taking time out of Saturday evening to jump into the Old Tube Radio Network.
Oh, no problem. It's always a pleasure being here, especially after a good long day of hunting and stuff like that. Thanks for the check-in, and you're sounding awful good, Dennis.
All right, thanks for that. 'Tis the season. So good luck on that, and do some more while it's time to do it. Thanks for checking in. Let me jump over while Neil is in. He's got the radar turned on, SWL, and I'm getting at the right number here. Let's go to SWL 145. What is going on up in Kakalaki? First heard OTR in February. See, it's true. People don't believe us. First heard OTR in February of 1987 while living in Fresno. Not much social life for me. Well, if you don't have much social life, and it's 2025, and the guy in the suit, in the seersucker suit and the pocket protector sitting in the air chair, don't even think about what's going on around here. 145. Thanks, as that guy used to say, thanks for the memories. And still around. I always say that at some point we're going to check in the 1 millionth radio, or the 1 millionth SWL, and we'll have the balloons parading out of the sky here, and hopefully there's a prize. Hopefully there'll be a prize in it for somebody. Thank you, Neil. Got you checked in yet again. You're into the quadruple, triple-digit check-ins. So, yeah, how many weeks? 52 weeks, right? We were on most weeks, maybe 50 weeks a year. Times 10 would be 500, right? Times another 10 would be 1,000. It just goes on and on. Let's continue on roll call. We made it to Mr. Crawdad. Let's go to SWL 110. Out in Millerton. Down in Millerton Lake, SWL 111. Robert checked in earlier. Couldn't make it through the skip. Let's go to SWL 113. And Steve Areno. Hi there. I'm doing great. With the boat anchor. No boat anchors on the deck. The HT-37's on the floor. The real boat anchor is in the other studio. What else have I got? I got a couple. Got the Halocrafters SX-25. If we ever redo the shack here, all that stuff will be on display. Let's go to the guy with the big signal, SWL 114. Hello, Wayne.
114, Sergeant M.
Sounding good on AM tonight, and I have put the X in this square right on page 4. Thanks for joining us, Wayne.
Thank you for the check-in, Dennis.
Then we jump up to SWL 128. And I did see John checking in about an hour ago. SWL 128. That's one of his SWL numbers. One for Popular Electronics is also on my list here. Out in Fairfax, Virginia. Putting the X in the square. Thanks, John. Over to SWL 131. Shortwave listener 133. And Richard, you have the ART-13 in the garage? That may have the 11 meter. That may have an 11 position on there somewhere. I don't know. Anything from, what, before 1957, 55, 56? Probably going to have an 11 on the dial. Might not be Class D. Rose, VK4. Rosie, thanks for checking in with us tonight. We might have some, when we get our second gray line to the Pacific, maybe you guys will be checking in on Sunday afternoon. We'll be listening for you. Over to SWL 135. Hello, Cliff.
Hello?
Hello, radio, over. Let me hit the right button. Hello, radio, over.
What happened?
I have a foot switch that rotates around. It has two switches. One of them is good, one of them is not good. So if it goes in a 90-degree angle, guess what happens?
Okay, is it time for me to check in yet?
Yes, sir. It is time for you to check in. 135 over.
Okay. I was beginning to wonder. You got right up there, and then everything went dark. But, is this radio all right? Everything working? SWL 135, hopefully successfully checking in this week.
Successfully on the shortwave listener list when I hit this button, bingo, and probably on the tube radio list coming up in about 7.5 minutes.
That's what this is.
Good deal. Our sort of teaser for the evening. We know we're getting a check-in. Thanks. And rediscovered 10. All right, well, good deal. You know, a lot of people do that. If they really, truly have the sickness, as I call it, you can abandon radio, you can give it up, but you will come back to it sometime. And we have had numerous people that, like yourself, in the 1980s or 90s, were joining in here and moved away or came back, and they turned the radio on to get in front of the radio, and it's like, wait a minute. Cue the Twilight Zone music. I remember that old tube radio thing. And then we start singing, let's do the time warp again. Cliff is in 135. Let's go to SWL 137. And 137 is in via proxy. And then Tony, SWL 145. Tony's up the hill. And it's been months since I checked in on the Friday morning net. I'll see if I can get my schedule around that. Tony did leave some questions, so before we get to the tube radios, we will do that. Neil listening in, up late tonight, 147, got you checked in. Mr. Snow Beast Jr., is he out? Is the polarity correct? Is the beam pointed towards the old tube radio network, 188? Up in beautiful Course Gold, SWL 195.
195, checking in, Dennis.
All right, if I see the red light, that means I've tromped on the proper button for the foot switch. Sounded good tonight. Nice clear signal beaconing into Midtown Fresno. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you, Dennis. You sound good, too.
All right. And SWL 226, Mr. Shockwave. I'll get a proxy in for Mr. Shockwave. And who was it? Skip Cycle of 2000. Who is that? Yeah, you know what? And Neil, you are absolutely correct. There was a lot of, that's when they changed over. I think they dropped the code requirement for ham around that time. It was 2000 was a really good sunspot cycle. I remember it was a double peak. We had a double peak, 6 meter was in, 10 meter, you could always go in the 10 meter AM window. In fact, what we used to do, and if Kevin remembers this, after we would get off of OTR on Saturday night, we would go on 29085 on 10 meters, and Jim and Kevin and I, being all close together here, would start a conversation on 10 a.m. and kind of wait for the East Coast to come in. So that way everybody could be heard, because we could hear each other locally. So we used to do that on Sunday afternoons, because that 2000, what would that be, cycle 23 was so good, and it had the double hop. It was really fun. So good stuff. All right. Anybody else need a check-in? And I had the questions here, and they went away. So give me 1 second, and we'll find out what our questions are. Hold on. All right, back, the old Tube Radio Network. I have not, I'd like to pre-read them so that I read them correctly, but I have not done that tonight, so here we go. And I know we're a little bit over time, so I want to get into the radios, which we will do. Question number 1, and this is multiple choice. Which New York, well, I don't know about West Coast guys, but guys on the East Coast might know this. Which New York electronics manufacturer produced private label transceivers for Lafayette Radio? We used to talk about that, but I don't think it was from New York. All right, which New York electronics manufacturer produced private label transceivers for Lafayette Radio? The choices are EICO, E-I-C-O, which I think is the Electronic Instrument Company, something like that. Sonar Radio Corporations, B&K Electronics, or United Scientific Labs. Well, you know, none of those answers are the ones that I thought I remembered. So who is, the clue is New York electronics manufacturer, private label transceivers for Lafayette. EICO, Sonar, B&K, or United Scientific Labs, because Lafayette didn't make their radios. And if you look back on the HE, the HA, the HB series, they all had that different kind of look to them. Acme, I think Acme is a good. Who said that? Richard. Acme might be good. Who else? Ico 23 Skidoo. Bill Ico. Let's see what the answer is. Answer. All right. Lafayette Radio sourced private label transceivers such as the HE90 CB radio from United Scientific Labs. For some time, it was incorrectly assumed this radio was made by the Japanese company Trio Kenwood. Also, I think there was Dewald, D-E-W-A-L-D, and my guess is because they were sourcing other stuff, that ICO might be correct as well, because they were just specifying which New York electronics manufacturer. So we'll check that as well. So maybe we'll get a Lafayette tonight. Lafayette. We want to get a Lafayette checked in. All right, had to make sure I'm not blowing up the radio with an old buzzer transmission. All right, one more question. This is not a multiple choice. A shipboard antenna described as having multiple parallel wires and secured to ship masts using wooden or ceramic insulators was known as a what? Okay, so we're on ship. We've got an antenna with multiple parallel wires secured to the mast using wooden or ceramic insulators was known as what? Well, I guess the easiest thing would be a fan dipole, but they're not looking for that. But if you look at a lot of the old pictures, when you see AM broadcast station, and they've got the big towers, same way, they've got the multiple wires running across. And there are a few that you can actually go listen to. If you go to the Kiwi SDR and listen in on, it might be Half Moon Bay, Point Reyes, they use one of these style antennas. And somebody got it. Richard, you are correct. It is the Marconi, almost famously seen as a T antenna on the RMS Titanic. So fire up your Marconi or go to the SDR and see if you can hear us on the Marconi. Thank you for the questions, Tony. I will jump out of the air chair for a minute or two so I can set up for the tube radios, and then we will commence to begin with the old tube radio network doing what it does best, listening for your radios. I don't know, maybe a cage antenna would be another. I would say, fan dipole cage antenna, but the Marconi T or the Marconi is sort of, you got to get Marconi some credit here somewhere. Back in a moment, you are listening to the old tube radio network.
When are we doing radios?
In like 2 minutes, over.
Okay.
Oh, look at that. The ore band froze up. All right, hold on. Before I get out of the air chair, what do we want? I'm going to go to the S meter. Do we have an S meter cam? Yeah, look at that. That's how quiet it is. Okay, I got to fix the ore band. So I got to turn it off. Uh-oh. The loudness meter is having problems tonight. Let me bring it back up. All right, and then we go back, test radio. Okay, see, it does weird stuff, let me tell you. It's got to be totally reinitialized. All right, here we go. And there it is. That's my audio. That's the static. All right, back in a minute. The old tube radio network. All right, well, as we say in the business, I think this is take two.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
All right, you know, they're applauding for you. They're applauding for you, the old tube radio operators, coming up. Ready to go with your tube radio fare. Let me bring up the list. We're going to clear the rigs out. I hope the Rolodex is working tonight. And I'll say it right now. The Old Tube Radio Network is listening for your radio check-ins. Over.
135.
All right, two stations were heard, and I'll take them in the order of appearance. I did hear Cliff, and I'm going to pencil you in, or pin you in, for radio number 2 tonight. So stand by. We'll flash the big red light in the green room, and then a voice from afar, beaconing at 20 over, a big signal tonight. Mr. Harvey, SWL 20. Over to you, sir, back on the west side, and tell us what's happening in 20 land. Over.
Roger. Okay. This is from the collection of Phil, number 56. One of his radios that he's getting rid of. It's already sold. It's going back east. And Cliff, if you should be listening. I tried it with a D104. It was too high pitched. Well, I called the guy and he said, "Oh, I'm going to run a +3." So this is a Turner Custom Special 1 microphone on the General Super MC11A, and it's going back east. So with that, Dennis, I'll turn it back to you.
Sounds good, nice and loud. Typically, we hear those radios with the supplied standard microphonium. I'm showing the infamous picture we've been showing for the 40 years from Cliff's collection with the, what is it, M3 or something? That's what's on the post here. But the classic Super MC11A, last type accepted powerhouse from General Radio Telephone in Burbank, beautiful downtown Burbank, California. Right on channel 11, looking good, and back to you for sounding good, and from the 5.6 collection, and it's like a little kitty being rehomed to a new house. Over.
Roger. And this is what a hand mic would sound like. This is from my General Super MC11A. This is the hand mic off of mine. So you can hear the difference. Anyway, we'll turn it back to you. Let Cliff go ahead. Then after a bunch more check-ins, I hope, I'll go through a list of what Phil is, Phil 56 is parting with. Okay, turn it back to you.
Question?
All right, back to me in the studio, and then we do have some technical questions for you a little bit later. So I hope you have your snacks ready at the microphonium, because you might be working overtime tonight. Thanks, Harvey. It's sounding really good. And there was a question. Go ahead, question. Over.
Yeah, please tell me, Phil, just for kicks, is not leaving town.
Oh, darn. Well, Phil checked in earlier. Phil's fine. Phil's okay. Phil is Phil, and he's still kicking just for kicks. It's just his radio room isn't that big, and he's tired of stepping over radios. So, he's thinning out the herd, and I'm giving them a hand doing it. Anyway, I'll let you go, and I'll talk more about it a little later. Thank you, Mike. Mike.
Yeah, Phil checked in earlier, sounding good. If Phil is notorious here in the Central Valley, let's talk about Phil. I've probably got a lot of, since we've been on so long here in the Ultra Radio Network, I've got some oldie but goodie recordings of Phil on some of these radios. I'll have to pull them out when we do a golden oldie time. But Phil is notorious for probably being, because of his call, because of his call sign, his amateur radio call sign, being like the first guy to check in on most nets here around in the Central Valley, except for OTR. But then when he gets the early check-in, he keeps that, he keeps that thing, that vibe going with getting checked in on the first part. So Phil has been doing the old tube radio thing for a long time. So like Harvey said, thinning out the herd a little bit, making it so you can walk in and get that glass of water at 3 a.m. in the kitchen and not trip over something. And we appreciate the fact that he's making everything available, and we'll get him up and running locally and around the bend, so that old tube radio stuff can happen. All right, thank you, Harvey. General Radio Telephone Super MC 11A sounding good, getting us started off. And let's go over. Your light is flashing, Cliff. He's heading up into the air chair to 135. Hello, Cliff, for Radio 2, over.
Okay. Hello, is it working?
It sounds good in my neighborhood, as they say, over.
Okay, let's see. This is a radio from the Lafayette Radio Corporation, and I'm pretty sure it was made in Japan. This is the Lafayette Comstat 25B, as in Bravo. There are 11 tubes, and there goes my voice, that figures. 11 tubes, all 23 channels, crystal controlled, transmit and receive only, so no waiting, and not much else to it. You got squelch, on-off volume, and fine-tune, and standby, of course, to help you keep your tubes warm, and a modulation light, which is indicating I'm modulating. Back to you.
It is indicating you're modulating. I'm trying to figure out why. Oh, there it is. It was just coming up a blank picture. Now everything is there. And I think this is from your... No, this is definitely from your collection. It's easy to tell. It's a good picture. The radio is functioning. It's on channel 11, and we're seeing its best features, which is there's a red light. So you must have... I don't know how you're getting it a transmit. The meter is up. It's very stealthy. It's very 1970 looking, over.
Yeah, it looks very much like I have an old Sherwood quad something. It's a quadraphonic receiver, and it matches it very well. It's very strange how well it actually matches up. The Sherwood's much bigger than this, of course. This is just a little base mobile, but it's the style you're talking about. They look very similar. Oh yes, and the microphone is not as pictured. If I recall that picture of mine correctly, it's got the Lafayette Range Boost desk mic. I'm currently using the what is this? Oh yes, so this is a Turner 350 hand mic. First mic I wired up for this radio back in the old days, and it's a dark gray plastic unamplified hand mic. Back to you.
Well, sounding very good for that. Yeah, I'm looking at the Lafayette Range Boost microphone. So not a problem. Audio is fine. You can actually hear the little clink, little clunk as the you do the push-to-talk button, bar, slider, whatever it is, on that particular microphonium. Good audio, and yeah, you are correct. This would be, and I'm sure 23 Skidoo probably knows what Panasonic mode this is, number 1, number 2, number 3, but it's made in Japan, Panasonic chassis. I don't think it's the same ones that are in the Robins. And then what we were talking about earlier on the questions, those are the mid-60s Lafayettes, that were the HA and HB. So I'm not ever sure if Lafayette ever produced a radio that they built in a shop somewhere, but they were able to, be secreted a radio and put their badge on it, and good stuff. And this was quite a difference. Anybody knows the Lafayette Comstat 25A? This 25B was totally different, and in a time when the radios were making it out of the garage and the shop into the living room, because there were 1 million, 2 million, 4 million CB radios on the air somewhere, sounding good, doing a good job. And you know what? If I get close to my radio, I'll give you a frequency check here. Over.
Comment.
The comment. Go ahead. Over.
Very similar to a T-Berry Model T.
All right. Well, maybe it is that number 2 Panasonic chassis. I looked to see what we had information, and it doesn't really say. So maybe it is. Maybe it's one of the AM plate modulated radios. All right, back to you, Cliff.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting to know. And I forgot. Post is on. Of course, with an unamplified mic. I'm gonna boost on. And I'm not turning it off because it's been a while since I've cleaned it, and it seems to be working. So I'm going to leave it alone. Does it sound okay?
It sounds absolutely perfect. If you watch the replay, listen to the audio, I'm sure you will probably agree. I'll have to see where my receive audio is. I think we're in the ballpark because I have to make the levels match. Looking good. 3 watts, 3 or 4 watts output probably, and your 0 beat takes you to 27084.1, so probably about 800 or 900 cycles on the low side, but sounds good on my wide AM filter at 85.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Let's see, I got 0842, it's really low, but Harvey, is there any way of adjusting that?
Yes.
Okay, wasn't sure, because yeah, it's gotten lower over time. I don't know if the oscillator tube, I'll have to check things out. I don't know what could be going wrong, or it just could be drifting. Haven't really done anything to it in 20 years. So it might just be time for a quick tune-up. Who knows? But it's been a reasonably reliable radio. Sounds pretty good in both transmit and receive. I love the multicolored meter. Got a green, amber, and red. And oh yeah, Dennis, yeah, you're up right around 20 over. It goes up to 30. So excellent signal tonight. Back to you.
Very good. I noticed the meter, I think, is different than the other B chassis. And 23 Skidoo went down to his vault, where he has all things 11 meters in the whodunit and what do you think. It's sort of like Jack Benny's money vault, but it took him a while to get down there through the alligators. And he says the 25B is a second generation Panasonic. The original Comstat 25 and 25A was the first gen, and the 25 was the rare one with the both 22A and the 22B channels. I remember that because I had a radio with 22A, and some of the Lafayettes had 22B that people would go to, which would have been, channel 25, 23, 24, 25 today. I was always jealous from that. And from the factory, so that came from the factory. FCC made them kill it after the help proposal failed. So maybe they were thinking that there was going to be extra channels with 22A and B, but that didn't happen. So FCC didn't like having those little, don't cut the green wire available, even though everybody did cut the green wire. All right, thanks, Mitch, for that. So it is the B, but I think it looks like they changed the meter. Looks like it's sort of a reverse meter, but that means inside you've probably got plate modulated YAM.
Angel music, as we used to call it on 75 meters. Yeah, it's I call it the upside down meter. It kind of swings like a pendulum, as opposed to the windshield wiper type meters. which is cool, and like I say, bright and colorful, and lots of fun to run. This is both AC and DC. This will run mobile. I currently, of course, am in the base station configuration out here in the CB Cabana, but I do occasionally check this one in mobile, and I will do it again.
Very good. Yeah, that would be, because those chassis had the 12-volt DC. I think there's probably 2 transistors in there somewhere that'll help you do that. All right, one last question, because we were looking at your photo, sans the microphonium. There is a light. I can see it now. It says mod, so that'll be up on the right, and it's glowing red. So do you remember when you took this picture, how did you do that? Were you whistling in the microphone? How did you get the mod light to work?
If you look at enough of my stupid pictures, you'll see I do things like that. Sometimes you'll see a D104 that's, if you look carefully, is in the lockdown position. Same thing with this Turner mic, which was made for Lafayette, I guess. I think it's a plus 3B or something like that. I'm not certain, but it was made by them for Lafayette. And it does have a lockdown feature, so I do that occasionally in my pictures. I'll lock down the mic, and while I'm taking the picture and getting the little autofocus thing to work, I'll go, I'm not kidding, while I take the picture. And more often than not, I do get the mod lights or the magic eyes or, whatever it is I'm trying to photograph to show up.
Indeed, you do. Thanks. The Lafayette 25 Bravo, Panasonic, another radio made for Lafayette on the sly, but they changed it. Let's see. You've got the range boost. You've got the fine tune. What didn't they give you? You got a PACB. So that actually was fairly deluxe. They put a lot of features through that, so nice stuff, and very, very cool looking. Like you said, it matches a lot of the blackout stereo units at the time, so it would fit right in the living room. So they did a good job, and they probably, anybody got the old Cadillacs, I'm sure they sold a lot of those. Comstat 35, just to mention, is mostly a cosmetic change from the 25B. The only one with the Bozo red channel selector, and I think you might have one of those too. So we'll see if that doesn't show up in the list. Thanks for bringing it by.
Oh, okay. And just a word about the things that are not included. According to there's no RF gain control on here. That's always disturbing. No. What do you call it, distance local switch or anything like that. I guess it's just a full-on gain. And what's the other thing? No automatic noise limiter switch. According to the manual, there is an automatic noise limiter circuit built into it, which is always on. I wouldn't call it a super deluxe model because a lot of that stuff is usually switchable, but I guess most of it, enough of it is here to have a nice Citizens Band radio experience. Back to you.
I like that. We might print that on the back of our OTR jackets. Have a nice Citizen Band radio experience on the old tube radio network. Because that is exactly what we are doing now. It is sounding good. Thanks for bringing it by. And you didn't make a liar out of me, because I was thinking, I said, maybe tonight we'll have a Lafayette radio, not knowing that indeed we would.
I set that thing up here at about 5:30 this afternoon, too. So you were just precognitively psychic. I'll see you next week.
All right, thanks for bringing it by. The old tube radio network, real radios glowing in the dark. Are the jingle singers ready to tell us about all the good things that happen here? Yes, they are. You're listening to OTR.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. For music and the latest news from home and from afar, the station for you is
OTR, Old Tube Radio.
The station for you is
OTR.
The station for you, and maybe even you, the Old Tube Radio Network listening. Harvey, are you still by the two-way radio? Over.
Yeah, 77 keyed up.
Oh, you know what? I probably was in a weird mode and didn't have my receiver correctly orientated. I think I should now. Hello, 77.
Good evening, one and all, and we are currently transmitting on a 9 out of 10 absolutely beautiful Browning Golden Eagle Mark III that belongs to KW, Mr. Jerry.
Okay, I will go to the Rolodex and bring up, it will not be, oh, okay, I was thinking it might have just broke, but I think we're good. It will not be that very radio, but it'll be a good representation of said items minus probably some color differences. And of course, when we realize that the radios that we're talking about, and especially this one, is something that is 50 years old, that's saying a lot, keeping it in great shape, not only cosmetically, but transmit-wise as well. Back to you. Here, we'll put up a couple pictures as we go through the QSL here. So let's start with that one right there. So there's the side-by-side radio, transmitter, receiver. This one is showing a VFO, but I don't think you have that. But same size transmitter, same size receiver, the Mark III with the sideband. They incorporated everything, and if you've got 3 feet of desk space, you're good to go. Back to you.
Yeah, it's just, even all these years later, it's just beautiful to look at. It just, it's just style and class, and of course, Browning was building some amazing 11-meter radios. And they came up with the ping called the Golden Eagle Scream. And Jerry is very fortunate, and because of Harvey's due diligence, he found him an absolutely beautiful radio. This radio has not been restored. This radio obviously was packed away in boxes somewhere in a safe place, and spent many years in probably a dark closet somewhere, because it really does look like the day you would have bought it, 50 years ago.
And the price, I don't know, you might have been able to get them in the mid $600 when they first came out, but typically they were between $700 or $800, and this is 1970, sort of almost pre-inflation money. That was a lot of money, and you had to decide whether you were going to buy the used car or shell out for a radio, and then explain it to the XYL what was going on. Built quite nicely, of course. Browning Laboratories, when you see the pictures back in the day of their 80, 90, 100 employees hand building these things, having their Christmas parties made in the USA with pride. It's no wonder that they're still looking good and sounding good today. Over.
Yeah, it's interesting. Jerry did the cost analysis comparing the $899 price tag then to now, and this radio would be $5,000 today for that same money back then. That was the ratio, which I was really shocked.
It was expensive. I know I was well into my high school CB career until I actually went over to somebody's house that had, and this would have been a Mark II, I think, a Browning Mark II, and I was actually able to get on the microphone and key up and think, well, I've finally done it, but I certainly never had one in my shack. If you didn't mention it, someone has asked a question as to what microphone you are currently using with the radio. Over.
Is the non-amplified Tug 8 D104, and we do have a Golden Eagle mic. We do have the original banana mics. They need some attention, which will we will do in the future. But yeah, it's just a non-amplified D104.
All right, sounds good. Has the Browning sound. There's, Browning did their roll off on the low frequencies, so you would have a nice punchy audio, and it's all of that. Has plenty of good. I hear some background items going on, but it's not too loud, and your audio is pleasant. It's there are screaming eagles. This one screams at the beginning, but then it gets a little bit mellow when you talk, but it's still nice and loud. Looks good and sounds good. 23 channels. It has sidebands, but the receiver. Refresh my memory on that receiver. Can you tune in 40 channels?
I don't know if it'll go that wide, but you can go. You can pick up some of the upper channels, in the 40 channel range. Okay,
maybe some of the later ones did that, but they put the frequency. I always thought it was cool. They put the frequency along. Thankfully, for those who, what is 27085? But they put the frequency in the channel. I thought that was pretty cool. Nice big knobs. It's got a really good feel to it. And then you can't beat the big speaker, the on-the-air light built in, and then you've got a meter for both the transmit and the receiver. And they never faltered from, let's put something in the same case, although they made some mobile radios like that in the compact. But still, I think Browning knew they had a good deal and just kept trying to, maybe find different tubes and incorporate a sideband and the pan adapters and things like that. Good stuff. You are radio number 3, the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB. I hope Jerry can get a good little cloth or cover or something for that when it's not in use.
Yeah, a harmonically sealed glass case. I think it should be in. Jerry also has new old stock with the original box and the book and the sales receipt of a very rare Browning 40-channel mobile that they had made. That another beautiful, amazing radio that I never even knew about, and he's got one of those also.
Nice. Very good stuff. And then 23 Skidoo mentioned that the Tram D201, which is pretty much the competitor at this time for this radio, for the Mark III. I know Demco and Buddy and and Tram, or not Tram, but Sonar had some nice sounding radios. But the D201, the Mark III, back in the early to mid 70s, head to head, theirs tuned to 27,550. So I'm pretty sure some of the later receivers on Browning pushed up to 40 channels, and probably because of that. It was okay in the FCC to be up at 40 channels on the receive. Of course, transmit until 1976 was crystal controlled and 23 channels, and not the A, 22A and 22B. Back to you for another transmission. Thanks for bringing it by. We haven't heard it in a while, and it's sounding great.
Yeah, we spent a little time today on it, just making sure everything was up to snuff and checking capacitors and resistors and whatnot, and slowly fired her back up with the Variac, and because it had been about a year since it was pulled out and turned on, and yeah, for the most part everything went smoothly. And yeah, I remember as a kid, this was the creme de la creme, man. They got a Golden Eagle, but good old days. Okay, Dennis, we appreciate it. Thank you for letting us showcase it. Thank you, Jerry, for letting me, I guess, be the, what's the word I'm looking for? The, the radio representative tonight. And I hope everybody's having a great weekend.
So far, so good. Thanks for stopping by the old tube radio network. What do the singers say? That's hard for me to say. That favorite friendly place.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, the friendliest station for you by far is known to all as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
And we were listening for Radio 4. And, you know, Harvey, I'd called you earlier, and I don't know if you're still by the radio chair or not, over.
Of course, I have to list the radios. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, and which you have. Has it been a while since we were talking about the Panasonic 2 chassis? Has it been a while since you worked on that? Because we actually have a few questions about that. SWL32 Rob has got his Yellowbird up and running and had a few questions, and we might be able to at least tickle an answer to here.
Okay, what's the question?
All right, what I will do first, if I can figure out how to do it here, is let me bring up, I'll put it in the link, a picture of the Yellowbird. Is that, did we make it? Okay, yeah, it's there. I just don't have the right radio. Oh, and then we have to pull on it. Oh, no, it's there. I don't know why it's not showing up on my meter. That is so strange. All right, hold on a second. All right, well, I get it. It's up at old2radio.com, but for some reason it's not, it doesn't want to show up in the right mode here. Question, we're talking about the Robin T240D. It's got it alive and kicking. Put some power to it. Changed a couple of capacitors. So what he's saying is he went through the alignment procedure from beginning to end, and there were some issues with tuning slugs being frozen in place. And he adjusted what would move for the best results and checked against, whatever test equipment he have. But in nearly all the ferrite tuning slugs in the cans are frozen in place, either due to age or someone gluing them in place to prevent, unintentional tuning. So is there a safe way to free them up? Have you come across that where you can't adjust them and it's sort of like, well, don't adjust them? Or can you heat them up? Can you put in some chemical? What would be, if you actually had to adjust something, what would you suggest?
Okay. All the time, some of them are frozen. Now, they put a little bit of, we'll call it not glue, but little cement type stuff in there to keep them from moving. If you have a top core and a bottom core in one inductor, do it on both of them. Now, I found a way to free it up, but you got to be real careful. And I'm pretty much not going to do it anymore. I use some of this stuff called Goo Gone to get rid of sticky stuff and all that. And you got to drop a little tiny bit right where the glue is, a little bit, because you don't want to soak the paper, because once you do that, the paper starts to somewhat disintegrate if you put too much stuff on there. But I put a little bit on there, then I have a little sharp-pointed scraping tool, and I go in there and I very carefully try and remove some of it, and then I can get them to move. It's painstaking. It's a pain in the butt. I would go on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, where it's where you can ask those questions. And there's possibly some other type of chemical that can be put on to free it up. But it's in the 240D, the 123B, all those similar chassis are all like that. So you do the best you can.
All right, good answer, thank you. My foot switch moved away. I see the red light. I think I'm transmitting now. All right, well, let's stay in the same chassis, and let's go to, let's talk about frequency. Let's talk about, we talked about this on the Lafayette, and you mentioned it could be done with Cliff's radio being at 27084. So if the transmit frequency is low, let's say it is 1 kilohertz low, there appears to be no frequency correction cap in the section that generates the 40 channels or in the VCO. But would there be a situation where if you're at 27084 that you could get it to 27085 or close? Over.
Okay. I'm trying to remember. There's my cough. Pretty much no. I think there is an adjustment on there. It's very hard to get to. You got to have a special little plastic tool to do it. I had hoped they had a very, very small trimmer cap in there so you could do it. And they don't, I believe. I just worked on a 240D for Sean, and I think I was able to adjust it, but I'm not sure. But he uses it, and it seems to be okay. Pretty much, they're fairly close. You're saying this one's a KC off. There could be a way to do it with a small picofarad capacitor, but you'd have to go into the board, you'd have to know exactly which one, and then change it. Either a little more, a little higher or a little lower would adjust it. But I haven't done that because it's too fine of work for me to do. But, so, there is a way, but you need the schematic, and you need to have good knowledge of it, of how to read the schematic, and you go to that area, and then if you know what to change, then you can change it, and it'll work. I've heard some people have put a small trim cap in there, but I wouldn't even attempt it at my age.
I like that caveat. I may have misspoke, as they say. It says Rob says the RX is on frequency, so it's the TX is low. Is that a different animal then?
Yes. The RX is on frequency because it actually isn't, but it's close enough. Now, if the transmit's like 084.3, something like that, the receive is widebanded enough, I believe, that you probably wouldn't really notice that it's off. Anyway, but on transmit, if you got a free counter hooked up, you go, oh, 084.3, got to get it up there. So, although 084.3, 700 low, you'd probably be okay.
Well, the FCC allowed you 700. That's why Browning put that 700 trimmer, right? And they put the word 700 right on there. The number 700 they know, and they're like, see, FCC, we're not doing anything bad. And there, if it was crystals, I know there used to be, the pencil lead thing. Used to be some stuff going that way. And I agree, because I'm listening, and even on my Regency Imperial, which has a really tight receive, I think like 1.5, you got to be off at least a KC to start noticing something. And a lot of radios have the tune. So I'm listening at 15 KC, but I don't know if anybody's off until they're about 3 KCs down. So, all right, and yeah, sometimes it's a good thing, especially if you're off frequency a little bit. That's how you know it's an old tube radio. And if you're heterodyning with somebody, if the receive guy or gal has an RF tune, they can actually tune off to the plus or minus side and get rid of the main carriers going on. So sometimes it's not all a bad thing. However, if it was a sideband radio, different. But I agree with you. AM, that KC is probably not a bad thing at all.
Yes. Now, in most tube radios, 11-meter tube radios, you go down at the transmit oscillator area, and there are a couple of picofarad caps there, anywhere from maybe 3, 4, 5 picofarads up to maybe 20, 30. I don't know. There's a mixer section, but there's a transmit oscillator section. Anyway, and they have those caps there. Well, if you took a trimmer cap and replaced the fixed picofarad cap with a trimmer, you could trim possibly a good KC low or high, depending on the radio. What Browning did was, in that technical section, they did the crystals in the radio so that if you just used the crystals and not that picofarad cap, you would be high. You would be high about 086, maybe 086.5. Well, what they did was, on the channel selector, the grounded part of the channel selector that all the crystals were attached to, they put I'm trying to remember, maybe an 80 or something picofarad cap, and that ran to the fine tune control. And between the two, it lowered the frequency from 086 something down to around 085 or 084, and then you tuned to 085. That's what they did. And you can do that to most of the tube radios if you want to get in there and mess with them. But anyway, so that's how the Browning worked. They just did the same thing but moved it outside. On the 40-channel radios, a lot more difficult because it's all crammed into that little board.
All right, good deal. A little bit of things to think about, and thanks for your expertise. We'll get out of the technical area here. If we got a couple more radios that want to check in, we would do that before we sign out. And everybody goes, what do they say? What's another thing we see in the 11 meter? It goes horizontal, or modulating the mattress and all that stuff. So thanks.
Okay, I still need to mention the radios. I talk too much.
This is turning into the talk too much frequency. All right, let's take it over to you for some other radios to be available. Over.
Okay. Anybody that wants one, wait till I'm done with all of them, mentioning them, and then you can text me, call me, get a hold of Dennis, whatever. Okay. All the radios are still at Phil's. Anybody that wants a certain one that I mentioned, I will eventually go to Phil's. I'll go to Phil's, get that radio, check it out, and then It won't be sold unless I kind of sign off on it or whatever. We want to make sure they all work. He hasn't used them in several years. Okay, Siltronics 1011C, Siltronics 1011D, and one Siltronics frequency counter, which will either go separate or with one of the radios. Okay, a Lafayette Comstat 25B with a UG8 mic. Then a Pierce Simpson Guardian 23 and a Pierce Simpson Guardian 23B. The only difference between them that I can tell is the B inside, right off the mic plug, has a sealed up circuit board with a bunch of wires coming out that I believe is a mic preamp. Okay. And a UG8 D104 will go with one of the two radios. Okay, then an ICO Sentinel 23, an ICO Sentinel 12 channel. A Webster 412. That's about 5 or 6 channel radio. Nice looking. It's kind of unique. Okay, then he's got 4 Hammerlin 105 TRs. Now, one is already gone, we'll say promised. I still have to get it over here and check it out. So he's keeping one, and then 3 of them go. So technically there are 2 more. Hammerlin 105 TRs. Okay, page 2. A Robin T123 Magic Eye Tube. Robin T123B. And then a Sonar Model G and a Sonar Model E. Okay. A Johnson Messenger 2. That's the blackface. I believe it comes with a mic. And it has the tone alert strapped to the side of it. So it's got that. Then a Utica TNC. Not the big boy TNC 2 or 3, but the TNC. It's a smaller, got a big dial, 6 or 7 channel radio. Then a Tram D201. Not the A, Tram D201. I'm not sure if a mic goes with it or not. Then he's got a Demco satellite. Not the Deluxe, the bigger one, but the smaller one, chrome fronts, etc. It's got the modulator with it, the speaker with it, and I think there's a meter with it, and probably a mic with it, but I'm not absolutely sure. Okay? And there might be more over there that I missed, because there's a whole lot of stuff there. I'll be seeing him tomorrow, and I will possibly see more radios, don't know. But anyway, that's what he's got. Phil is fine. He's just thinning out the herd. Notice I didn't say any prices. Somebody let me know if they're interested. I'll talk to Phil. We'll talk about prices. Alrighty? Thank you, Dennis, and everybody else. And I only coughed once.
You did good. I want to know what cough drops you're taking.
Chloroseptic.
Oh my gosh, that's the chloroseptic is the good stuff.
Well, I wanted to try and get through this without coughing.
Breako TR, KJ6 EQB.
All right, the chloroseptic used to be what the guys. Chloroseptic used to be what the guys that the radio stations would use. Hello, radio from KB6 GFD.
Radio patio.
Out in the radio patio. All right, let me see if I can hear you.
That way out there?
I think he can hear you, so give it a try. KB6 GFD.
Okay, we're here, and we can hear from the Robin.
Maybe
we can hear the radio lounge from outside.
There was somebody out there that made a comment.
Yeah, I believe, and I've got my receive attenuation on tonight, so I might not be able to hear it, but we got a station out in the radio patio, probably on a portable antenna.
Hey, Mike, is that you?
Oh, this is a fun cross.
AK6QI. I'm on the frequency as well. I can hear both of you guys.
Cool. Well, I can hear the lounge, yes.
Oh, you may have to proxy me in next week. I'm going to be working, and it looks like I'm working with the slow people, so I don't know if I'll get back.
All right. I didn't think I was going to be there. I have a question for Mike. If you're in the radio lounge and you are transmitting on 085, are you using an extension to the ground in a regular antenna or using a portable antenna? If you're on the regular antenna, then there is a serious coax issue.
No, I was outside by the swimming pool with an HT, the FT 60, but the sliding glass door is open. So I was listening to everyone as I have been for a couple hours now, listening to everyone from the radio lounge. But we were outside on the patio.
All right, now here's you. Okay, you weren't full quieting, but you were making my antenna no problem. So it was working.
Oh, good. Yeah, I got to complain that used to. I think after all these years, something's not happy with the receive audio on that.
I'm trying to think. Unless it's got a tone encode or decode turned on or something, and it's injecting a tone, but it could be. You know how HTs are. They're persnickety after a while. Hopefully, it hasn't been dropped out of the building too many times.
I'm proud to say it hasn't been dropped. Just like the radio. At 10:08, perhaps I ought to check in. My Robin T123 with the magic eye. It looks great. I wish I was outside right now on the radio patio. It's kind of nice out there. Not cool, but at least it's not hot. But the Robin T123 for your listening pleasure.
My listening pleasure, and the SWL's listening at 27085, Channel 11, and all across the Universal Media Net at L2Radio.net. There it is on the photo, were you to be digitally enhanced. It's got the Magic Eye tube, which I think is a 6RE13. We're looking directly into the side of that tube, cut through the bezel of the radio. And when the modulation reaches close to 100%, the top and bottom illuminations will meet in the middle, I think. Over.
Yep, that's exactly what it's doing. And I have to compliment you. This is one comment I've never made. I don't know if a drum roll is appropriate. On my S meter, when you transmit, that needle goes, it's not all the way to the right, but it goes pretty far up there, and it does not waver whatsoever. So whatever it is you're doing, you've got to be putting out nothing short of a phenomenal signal.
I believe the SEC allows you 5-watt DC input, and typically, if you look at the stats for most of the radios, 3.5 to 4 watts on the DC output, possibly amplified or accentuated by the use of a gain antenna. So it goes with RF. You are sounding good, and we're going to add you to radio number 4 on the very classic but seldom seen Robin T123. Over.
Okay, well, thank you for letting me check it in. I'm so sorry. I have not used this in the mobile configuration in quite some time, but it lends itself to that. It's one piece, super easy, and with this amplified mic, I guess it puts out at least a decent signal. So maybe sometime soon. The weather's getting cool.
Yeah, and it's going to be almost like October and big Fresno fair weather, so you know it's going to rain always rains one or 2 days during the fair. And the raisin farmers have already had their little disaster a couple of weeks ago, so hopefully it'll be clear sailing. Sounding good, Robin T123. Let me click on the Rolodex. 12-volt DC, 115-volt AC, of course, because you can run it mobile. Sam's PhotoFac, book 35, page 95 for more information on this 11-tube 2-transistor transceiver. Thanks for bringing it by. Over.
Okay, thank you. And, well, 2 comments. Number 1, if you wouldn't mind checking in the second Robin in the stable here, the 123B in Bravo, with an unamplified mic. I don't like using this late at night. I just, you gotta, well, you gotta scream into it in order to make anything happen with the Magic Eye, or not the Magic Eye, the modulation lamp. I don't like doing that this late at night. But comment number 2, you said something about October 1st, like the opening of the Fresno Fair. If the Fresno Fair opening is not your cup of tea, I got to mention that Fresno State, I think on the October 1st, I think it's 7:30 at night, probably 7, I would imagine. There's a concert, a memorial concert for their former trumpet instructor there, Dr. Richie Clendenin. So if nothing, if there are listeners out there that don't have anything better to do Wednesday evening, I would imagine, well, Google the Fresno State Music Department calendar, and you'll see that concert mentioned there.
Richie Clendenin, I know that name. Is it going to be in a music hall? Do you know where exactly it will be on campus? Over.
Yep, the new music building, which isn't so new anymore, but the concert hall.
Which I have never been into. It has been probably 25 years since I've been on the campus, and it has been, I hate to admit, it has been close to 50 years since I actually lived on the campus in the dormitories and things that are not there anymore and might be a little bit different. So that would be a good thing to get out there and jump through all the hoops and see something. All right, well, good deal. Thanks for mentioning that. We've added radio number 5, the Robin T123 Bravo. Yeah, I can always tell when you jump on that one, and you always think he's going up to the B bottle. But let me tell you, that 123 has some great audio where you don't even have to try. You don't have to try to talk, but it sounds good. This one, likewise, not 100% modulated, but it does its thing. Over.
All right. Well, as always, thank you for letting me check both these in. My goodness, they're still just absolutely delightful after all these years, and fun to finally be able to open this sliding glass door and be able to enjoy everyone from outside there on the patio. So appreciate it. 73 from the Radio Lounge.
All right, 73. That's a good night to be out doing something, and appreciate it when you can grab the radios and check them in as well. A lot of thumbs up for this one. Foxman saying, "Hey, this looks like the radio that's in my Radio Shack." There's probably a lot more of the Bs than the 123s, because that was the number 2 chassis with, I believe, plate modulated AM, sounding good all around. Thanks for bringing it by.
Hey, Mike?
Yes, sir.
I think I like, of all your radios, the 123, and I think you know why.
Cassidy smell?
The kitty radio. Oh, I'm just so glad that thing's still working. You betcha, I love that thing. Okay, I'll let you go.
Oh yeah, and for the record, it no longer smells like it. To be honest, it never has smelled like Cassidy. Never, honestly. Nothing but vacuum tube, like dust on vacuum tube and whatever, maybe a hot circuit board. But there's nothing like to smell that in the morning.
Oh, and by the way, Dennis, check in the Golden Beagle here. At the time, my wife wouldn't let me take that out of the house unless she approved it. So every time I cleaned it, I called her over and I said, "How about now?" She'd go, "Nope, not yet." And I'd clean it again. She'd go, "Nope, not yet." Then finally she said, "Yeah, it's okay." And then you got it.
Of all the stories, I have not heard that one.
Oh yeah, I had her verify that it was okay. I probably never mentioned it to you, but yeah. Okay, say hi to the rest of the family. We'll see you.
What was the old Pepsodent ad? You wonder where the yellow went when you brush your teeth with Pepsodent. So there must be a song. You wonder where the went when you. Never mind.
I'm sorry, but that's delightful, especially that you just came up with that at this spur of the moment. That's nothing short of brilliant, sir.
All right, counting and amounting. It is late. It is late here, so that means it's late everywhere else. The Jingle Singers would like to do what they do best, and then we'll be back for counting and amounting.
You're tuned to
OTR. Channel 11.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us.
Old Tube Radio.
And be modern.
And I must say, me and along with everybody else enjoyed the clear frequency tonight. OTR counting and amounting.
One last one, Dennis.
Hey, there is, like Jell-O. We're going to talk about old ads here that were on your television set when these radios were brand new. There's always room for Jell-O. Go ahead, sir.
Well, we'd like to check this one in. How about one from Waseca, Minnesota? My Blackface Johnson, T00, with a preamplified D104.
Good job. Okay, there's the side of the radio. Give us another transmission. You have that D104 set perfectly. Over.
I hope so, Dennis. Yeah, we've got 10 tubes and possibly AC, DC box here. Because I'm figuring there's another plug back there, possibly for maybe Go Mobile. If I'm mistaken, Harvey can correct me. But 10 tubes, 10 channels, and a Blackface Johnson.
Their upgrade from the Viking, Whiteface, extra tubes, full 23 channel receive, maybe some AVC, AGC updates, and a good solid performer without all the flair that would go mobile if you had the right cord or got the right radio. They had specific numbers, like 242, 162, or 242, 163. I don't think they had a, I could be wrong, I don't think they had a 6-volt DC version of this. That was the messenger. But the 12-volt AC or 115-volt DC with the 10 tubes was good stuff. CB5, you know, this is an older radio on Sam's. So book number 5, page 48, looking good. There is a schematic, actually, if you go to oldtuberadio.com and do some searching. It's sounding good, and we've got it in for a radio. Uh-oh, my radio list went away. What radio are you tonight? I wrote it down. Radio number 7, over.
Oh, good deal. Good deal. That makes me happy there. Yeah, we like to see more check-ins than usual there. The more the merrier. Okay, Dennis, that'll do it for this one. It does have an indicator light behind the screen. Lets me know that I am at least broadcasting on this channel. So that'll do it for me on this end, and I want to wish you a good night, and go once again, go Dogs. I hope they do their business with Nevada.
And that will be next week. Do you know if it's a standard, late night game?
No, I don't know, but I will know in a few minutes there. And then, of course, we'll talk more about that next Saturday. But I know that they played over there, and they might come back here to play. We might have Nevada here, because we were in Hawaii last week.
Could be. All right, well, nice to have a little respite. And we're going to give the frequency of respite here when we sign off. And who knows, maybe we'll get some skip conditions if people want to do that as well. Jingle singers, help me out here with the fanfare so I can jump out.
Ladies and gentlemen, time now for the current OTR totals.
The current and final totals for your old tube radio network. Thanks for joining us and staying up with us. And I got word that the oldtuberadio.net site, the server apparently has been in a building forever and the tubes are dying. it could have the big crash. So I don't know the fate of that site, whether we can get it migrated somewhere and repurposed. But we'll see what happens. But for now, the tube is glowing and that part is okay. I do believe the video portion of this should be okay because it's in theory not tied to that, although the Rolodex is back with that. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, I've been warned that the thing we've been doing for a long time on the .net site could come to an end. We'll find out. The radios always work here at 27085 in the Central Valley, so that will be a happening thing. Here we go. 22 check-ins on page 1, 18 on 2, 17 on 3, 23 on 4 for a total of 80 on the shortwave listener side. Radios tonight, I believe there were 7. A lot of times when we get into the big conversations, I get listening and I get to write things down. But the most heard manufacturer tonight was a tie between the Robins and the Brownings. Anyway, what we had tonight was the General Radio Telephone Super MC11A, formerly with Phil's Collections. That radio's been checked in and heading out somewhere. So maybe we'll hear it on Skipland at some point. The Lafayette Comstat 25 Bravo from Mr. Green Arrow, and thanks for Harvey for the General Radio Telephone. 1017 and Mr. KW on the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB. What do they call it? They used to on cars, a barn find or something, where it's just perfect. You take off the cover and dust it off, and it's good to go. The fins in chrome, sounding and looking good on the Golden Eagle Mark III for Radio 3. The Robin T123 plane with the Magic Eye for Radio 4 from Mike. Also the T123B upgrade from 1972 to 76. And the upgrade from that was the Robin T240D. Had a picture of that somewhere, working on Rob's radio. So there was some good chat information as well. Sounds like the best thing to do is to get it up and see how it works without too much fuss, and then see how low do you want to go with using specific things to get those other parts adjusted possibly. But I saw some other good comments on the chat. But sure does look good. Like I said, a lot of these radios, even just sitting there, it's like having that 59 Lincoln Continental in the carport. It gets a lot, when you're walking by, it's like, that's a pretty neat car. It doesn't run, but that's okay. It looks good. Radio number 6 was Harvey on the Browning R68 T68 Golden Beagle. As you heard moments ago, Joe on the E.F. Johnson Messenger TWO. Again, I'll reiterate, it was nice to have a nice quiet frequency tonight. I wish we could have got some business, some RF business from the Pacific Northwest. I think it'll happen. The band has been pretty good. 11 and 10 meters, 6 meters is open, and as we go into the fall, often we will get the E-skip. So keep your radios ready if you're out here on the West Coast and beyond. 73, everybody. Have a good evening. Dwayne, I see ya. we'll listen for you and get you checked in as well. Did somebody say 23? We said 73, I think. Good night, everybody. This is the Quickie Frequency. Go ahead, over.
Dennis, that game will be played here. Nevada will play Fresno State here about October the 4th, about 7 p.m. at night. So you'll be able to catch that one here. And if you want to check this one in, this is my Robin 123B.
All right, we have a method to check that in. That's radio number 8, and that will be the tiebreaker. Now, people say, oh, he's cheating. No. The tube is still glowing. We are still here, so we've broken the tie. The Robin T123B, doing a good job. And which microphone are you using on that, over?
This is a Gray Base D104, and this is 23, the 123B with 11 tubes, all 23 channels receive and transmit, plus a few extra channels on this one, Dennis. About 8 or 9 channels extra there if you need possibly to go to a little upper channel.
That's the bonus on your radio, and as Mark says, a bonus radio for us here at the old Tube Radio Network. And gosh, we got to get, I mean, you've got plenty of audio on that with the +2. I'm not sure why Mike's always has more of a somber sound to it, but it sounds good nonetheless. Radio number 8. The Robins doing a good job, and thanks for that. We'll look forward to a good game next week.
Yes, sir. Okay, Dennis, thank you, and good night. Have a safe one.
Oh, will do. Thanks for everybody staying up late. It's Sunday morning everywhere. A lot of places up there in Fairborn, Ohio, and probably out in Tennessee. Hans has had the morning fare breakfast, the continental breakfast, and is probably ready for lunch.
You know what's sad, though?
You mean, as we say in ham radio, Sierra Alpha Delta?
Yes, sir. When you have tree trimmers come, and they really, they really do a number on your trees, and then you realize that your 40-meter dipole is up there, and they didn't really care much about that.
Oh, no. Well, I had some tree trimmers come, and I ended up taking down my little dipole, but I put it back up. But I realized that, and they're going to come again, that there's a tree where when they were here before, they had this nice little articulating arm device that went up 60, 70 feet. I'm thinking, you know what? They can reach this part of the tree. Were it to be, maybe they could, you know, if the OTR guy says, hey, how much extra money would it take for you to take this bolt, this screw, and screw it in the top of there, and run this rope through it? So I have a little, not a pulley, but just like, you know, pulleys could break, but put this rope through it so I can yank up a wire rather than trying to shoot it through the tree. Or maybe I could rig up some device where they could strap a very stealthy-looking antenna up the top, because they have their little lift thing. So the possibilities are wild. So don't underestimate. Maybe they've created something good.
Yeah, and just for the record, I had lowered both arms of the dipole, but even that being given, somehow the entire antenna wound up like on the ground next to the garbage can. So yeah, it was a sad day. Well, it is a sad day. I can't listen to anything on HF anymore.
Maybe time to get out the bow and arrow or the slingshot or something to get it back up. You don't need to be up too high for 40 during the day, that's for sure. At night, it helps to be a little higher, but you never know. There's always NVIS.
Yeah. I think it's going to involve a trip up to, it's not Sunnyvale anymore. Whatever the HRO up 99 is close to Sacramento, somewhere by Elk Grove, just to maybe give you one. I will admit something else got paid apart in the demise. I think there might have been some squirrels up there chewing on the anything that was plastic on the side. It's a minor inconvenience, but a fun problem to deal with.
And believe it or not, on my way to Yellowstone, I looked at the map and was like, you know what? I'm going to be going right by that HRO. I haven't been to one in years and years and years. And so I did stop into the Sacramento one, which is now the one that used to be in San Jose. Very good people there. In fact, one of the guys I talked to all the time, and he was behind one of the counters, and I picked up a mobile antenna and some other little stuff, and it wasn't that far out of my way. So, yes, indeed. It's if you're ever taking a trip up that way, they're not that far off of a certain, one of the freeways up there. And the shop is modest. They actually do have radios on display, and they seem to have a pretty good stocked shelves of things, or can order it for you. All right, I'm gonna jump out of the air chair here. It is, oh my gosh, it's 10:33 or 5:33 UTC, plus or minus an hour if my clock is not correct. So it's that time. Over.
Yeah, I'm shocked that I'm still awake to 73 from the radio lounge.
Yeah, or you're like, think of 23. And I've been thinking about that, using a drone. I don't have one. And you got to be kind of careful, in town and what's proper and legal. And they do have, if you check the YouTube videos, there's these little remote, clamp it to the bottom of the drone, and you hit the remote and a little clasp will open. So you might be able to get a small weighted fishing line or something up in the drone, were you to have a drone, and go over and drop it down. It always looks easy, especially if you have all that stuff. If not, I don't know. But there's a lot of good options. A lot of people are making the air cannons, compressed air things, so who knows. And back in the day, I even tried climbing the big tree out here. I got about 35 feet. I was looking down on the street light, and then I realized, it just kind of like flashed that, like a cat stuck in the tree. How long, if I go up one more limb, one more branch, where the neighbor's going to be having to call the fire department, like a stuck kitty. So that was the last time I tried that.
Okay, so those tree trimmers that came often get called to retrieve cats. Believe it or not, this is a fairly common occurrence. And actually, when they reopened the little firehouse by Bullard and West, we asked those folks to, and sure enough, people do call the fire department to get cats out of the trees. But yeah, there it is. All right, go to bed. I gotta go to bed too. 73.
All right, talk to you later. There we go. Talk to you later. Good night, everybody, from your old tube radio network.